Tomorrow, as you know, is primary day here in Philadelphia, and we're extremely appreciative that a couple of the candidates for U.S. Senate are going to give us a couple minutes, and I promise not to take more than a couple minutes of their time today. Let me first welcome Sam Rohrer, who is one of the 5 candidates for U.S. Senate. Sam, how you holding up?
Adam, I'm doing fine, thank you, and hard to believe, but the days are here, and tomorrow we're going to find out what's going to happen here in Pennsylvania, so it's upon us.
Well, you've been on the show before. People know your message by now. What do you want people to know in the last 24 hours? What message are you trying to get out? We haven't had that many big breaking stories in the last week or so.
Well, no, there's not that much big breaking stories. I think from my perspective, Adam, it's just the fact that, this election should be viewed as critically important for going on in the fall. It's who is going to be the best candidate. In my opinion, that's going to be able to go up against Bob Casey in the fall with both message, and experience, and I believe that as we look forward to that, I know that from a Democrat perspective, they look and they say, my Sam Rohrer's voting record up against Casey's voting record, which is the first time he'll ever have run with a voting record, will be the sharpest contrast. And I believe that my knowledge of the system, how the votes are made, and having stood firm and articulated conservative constitutional positions, engaged in the fight, engaged in the struggle, and have not bowed the knee to the system and rolled over and sold my votes, I can provide that sharpest contrast to Bob Casey in the fall. And I think for the first time give the people of the state here a really true, clear choice between big government on Bob Casey, limited government on Sam Rohrer's perspective, progressive, socialistic republic mentality of Bob Casey, or constitutionally guided republic I have defended for so long. I really think that's what it comes down to here in a very clear fashion.
Yeah, but your message hasn't changed much. Probably hasn't changed much in about 20 years or even longer than that. But what are you doing to get out the vote? What's your strategy for tomorrow? It may come down to that.
Well, the strategy of getting out the vote is we are contacting people that we have already worked with and identified across the state during our past many weeks, and we're finding that they're very active. And I think it's going to come down to people talking to people in a lower turnout circumstance, and I think that we're in very, very good position to one-on-one deliver that message to folks who are motivated to come out and vote.
Sam, this is Bob Guzzardi.
Hey, Bob.
I've been very impressed with the number and the quality of the emails that I've been getting from your grassroots. There is no doubt, number one, that you are independent of party leadership. You have an impressive grassroots operation, and I think people to people is extremely important. We'll see how it works out tomorrow, but I think that you've established yourself as a significant player in Pennsylvania politics, and even the fact of running on your record moves the whole debate to a more constitutionally guided republic, and I think those are the core issues that you're making. Going into this more, where do you think your strengths are, and where do you think your weaknesses are?
From the standpoint of on the ground, or what are you referring to there?
On the ground, where do you think you're going to do the best? Where do you think you're going to? How do you break this out? Where's Steve Welsh strong? Where's Tom Smith strong? Where's Mark Scaringi strong? Where are you strong?
Well, this is kind of interesting as I look at it. I mean, obviously we're a day away. I don't think a whole lot's going to change between now and then, but I think that I'm going to remain strong in the areas that I was strong in the 2010 race, governor's race. We focused attention on a couple of the regions of the state, one towards the east, one towards the west, that were weaker, and I think we're going to be stronger in those areas. And I think the T is going to come together very, very strong for me. I think from Steve's perspective, Steve's strength is going to be however many people actually look at the establishment preordained slate card and who come to the polls not knowing what they're going to do yet. That's going to influence a certain number of people. I think there's Steve does not have a good force on the ground and not been able to put that together, but you're going to pick up a certain number of folks who come in not knowing what they're going to do, look at that slate card and say, oh, these are the Republicans, and vote unintelligently. And then Tom has waged the strongest air war of anybody, simply because the amount of money he's been able to put in. That's touched a lot of people. A lot of people know the name, but not necessarily do all of those people understand really what Tom stands for. And I think that's the question that remains there. And I really, beyond that, it's going to be a function. It's going to be a function of turnout, and who perhaps can come through with a more motivated grassroots. The weather obviously has some factor, perhaps. In everybody's speculating, and I can't speculate too much more than that. But it's going to have some kind of a factor. But that's how I think. That's how I see things laying out. Tom has won the air war. I think we've won the grassroots war. Steve has been stuck in the middle, but has the advantage of the establishment on these poll cards as they come out. That's going to find its way into the mix somehow. And I think it's going to be a 1, 2, 3. Probably not a whole lot of difference between number-wise between the top three, I would say. Sam
Rohrer, you have an exciting 30 hours ahead, probably more than 30 hours till you find the results. Good luck tomorrow, and thanks for coming on today.
Adam, thanks so much, and Bob, you as well. Bye.
Thank you, Sam.